Okay, so we are talking about getting students to show up at your school. And we did a little survey. It was just 2 questions. And the 2 questions were, one is, how's your website? And about a third of people, about like 40% people said, it's good, but not great. Other people said, it's great. I'd say the majority of people said it's good, but not great. And then some people said it's not great. And other people said, no, mine is really great. And then the other question was, what's the biggest challenge that you have? What are we looking at? And so I've got actually the numbers right here. I don't have to guess. Exactly 28.83% people said a comprehensive marketing plan is really what we're looking to do. The next big chunk is 27%. Let's just call it 30. Another 30% people said getting people to visit our website. And then we have 12% of people said getting people who are on our website to inquire. And another 12% of people said getting people those who did inquire to book an on-site meeting. So it makes sense. So we're going to actually talk about all of that right here. And I'm excited to show you how, and this is how we're going to do it. So quick introductions. My name is Steven. I'll be your host here. And we've got
Vincent Koski. I'm the head of the website department here at GradeLink.
Okay, so we're going to look at the simple things you can do to get inquiries. It should be mobile friendly. So like, here's 2 pictures of a website. Which one do you think a parent, if they're on their phone, is going to book a tour with? Right, the one on the right, right? Because
I think it's pretty obvious, Steve.
Yeah.
You can't even see the button on the first option.
So usually if your website, if you pull up your website and then yours looks like the one on the left and you're discouraged, don't be discouraged. It's not that complicated. Usually your website theme has like a mobile theme setting and it just might be tucked away somewhere that you haven't seen before. So you just have to modify that. Okay, the next one is good photos. Now photos are hard, and I found that maybe, I don't know, like some schools do great with photos and other ones, they just didn't maybe realize how important it is. So having exciting photos is important because we want to get people excited. You can do certain things, like if you take your photo, you can put it into Photoshop or a photo editor and kind of brighten up the colors. Like
more frequently, what we see on school websites is they line all the kids up and they say, everybody say cheese. And so you've got a whole bunch of staged photos of the kids, which is great if you're an existing parent, because then you're like, hey, that's my kid. He's on the website. But actually, that is ineffective when it comes to, it's boring, right?
Yeah.
Actually, the photo that you chose here, the first one, some people might think that that's a pretty decent photo. But if you look at it, like you said, it's dim. The expression on the people's faces, they look worn out. They look tired. It's not exactly the most encouraging, inspirational sports photo you ever saw. The one on the right is definitely a lot more inspirational, engaging, because we're looking for engaging photos on a website. Something that'll create an impression for that prospective family that's seeing your site for the first time. Okay,
this is real important. And this is, I think this is the hardest part of websites, is your message. And so usually people just leave this out. Okay, sometimes the school website is super obvious, like, oh, this is a school that does such and such, but sometimes it's not obvious. So what you really basically have to figure out is, like, as you're on the website, you're like, okay, what is this? How does it help me? How do I get it? If those questions are easily understood and answered, then someone is going to do the next step. And now for a school, how do I get it? Yes, you apply and you fill out the registration form, but that's usually not where you start, right? You usually like, okay, how about we talk on the phone and make sure that you're like a 5-minute phone call or 10-minute phone call would probably figure it out. Or you can do like an inquiry form and we just ask the basics stuff. Here's kind of what you want to do. Your big message at the top will be like your powerful message. So you don't put something like my Apple Academy. Like you don't put the name of your school as the headline. You want to put like what it is that you do, some cool outcome that you get. And then the subline, you want to put like kind of a benefit. If you can throw in the mystery, that's even better.
It is really important, especially for that powerful heading. Unfortunately, what we see a lot of times on school websites is welcome to this and that school. So it's basically a welcome, which, you know, if you just look at it from a very basic standpoint, okay, it's nice to welcome people to your school. But from a marketing perspective, that's really ineffective. What you want is a powerful statement about what the school's all about and why why is it a good thing for people to go to your school as opposed to anybody else? You've got to set yourself apart.
Okay, the other one, this is the best one. Just ask for inquiries. So left or right, which one will get an inquiry? The one on the left, because it says schedule a tour. The other one doesn't. What I see sometimes is people will put the schedule a tour button or the call to action, like you have to scroll down to find it. And I was like, hey, just make it what they call above the fold, which is just like, it comes from like the newspaper era. But basically without having to scroll, you should be able to see like what it is that is the very next step that you have to do.
Maybe it's not immediately obvious to you, but asking to schedule a tour or asking for inquiries right off the bat is actually very powerful. We've had an instance in the past where there was a website and it was decent looking, but it didn't ask for that inquiry. It didn't have a schedule a tour button or an inquiry button right on top of the page. They were booking about 1 to 2 per week, tours, that is. And after they made a modification to their website, they actually launched a new website with GradeLink. They had that schedule a tour button, and they started booking 3 to 5 per week.
You can't make your inquiry form super long. Like a lot of people, their inquiry form, sometimes they'll have like 15 questions on it. It's too long. You want it to be like very, very, very short. GradeLink does provide like a free inquiry form that you can use, and I think that's like medium length. It has a couple different fields on it, and they're all non-required. The best thing is if you're using a website from GradeLink, the schedule a tour button allows them to literally schedule the tour. It's not just put in your name and an email and then we'll get back in touch with you.
The much more effective way is to have an actual form that allows you to actually book an appointment or like choose a date and time, and then it'll send a notification email to both the person who booked it. And here's an example here. It's on GradeLink's website, right?
But you get this exact same thing.
Exactly. We do have software built into all of our sites that allows us to do this. So it does contain booking software. Now, of course, you could technically use a solution like Calendly or Acuity. There's a bunch of booking softwares out there, but you usually have to pay like a subscription fee to add it onto your site and get certain functionalities, etc.
Yeah. So if you're going to use a GradeLink's website, then this comes for free, and it's like unlimited appointments for unlimited people. So definitely do this.
The downside to just sending it to a contact page or a phone number is that, well, specifically the phone number. One, the question is, do you always have somebody 24/7 manning the phone? And if not, yes, you have a voicemail, but how often do voicemails get returned? In the busyness of running the school. And many times they're looking to book a tour right away, or they're interested at that point. And by the time you've gotten to their voicemail, they may have lost some of their interest or excitement about your school because they've moved on to other options.
Okay, so here's the big deal. So for people who are saying, a lot of people are saying in the survey that, hey, we really want to get more people to our website. And the other big chunk was like, I want to get the people who are on my website to inquire, which is natural. You should definitely want those things. But I'm wondering so 98% people will visit your website and actually not take action. And that's true of like every website. That's not just like, if your first question is, how do I get more people to my website? Yes, there are ways to do it, and it's not that hard. But the first thing that comes to my head is maybe there are enough people visiting your website already, and you just don't know because you don't have good analytics. All right, so let me show you. This was who Vince was talking about, Heather.
So this was a school, we developed their website. What happened was they went from booking 1 to 2 tours with their old website to the new website, which now had a clear call to action and actually asked for families to schedule a tour. She said, it saves us so much paperwork and hours spent handling calls and answering questions on the phone that could be asked during a tour.
So please, this is super easy. Just make sure that your call to action button is at the top of the page. And then some people, like in the header, they call it like a sticky header. It just means that when you scroll down here, actually GradeLink is like that, right?
Yeah.
So when you scroll down on the page, see how like the header sticks to the top? That's called a sticky header.
Yep.
So if you have your call to action button, like watch a demo or book a tour or whatever at the top, you put that there. If you don't have a sticky header, then just have the button, whatever it is that you're supposed to do next, like book a tour, just have that repeated over and over throughout the site.
Actually, it doesn't hurt to have both. You want to have repetition. Perhaps if you have a sticky header, put the button in there, but then also have it throughout the page, because people's eyes are on the content on the page. So you'll want to keep reminding them, even in a subconscious kind of a way, that the next step is to book a tour.